Alright then. Flutter apps can make use of SQLite databases using a SQLite plugin which is available on this pub. To work with this SQLite databases, we have to import this SQLite and path packages to our Flutter application. Let's see how we can do that. In our Flutter project, in this Flutter project, my intention is to create an employee database where it holds an employee name and as well as employee location, and we'll perform all the CRUD operations on this databases. So we'll see how we can do that. The first steps towards creating this SQLite databases is first you need to import the dependencies. So to work with this SQLite, you have to import the SQLite and the path packages. The first thing is you have to go to the installing to this pub.dev and you have to go to the SQLite and you have to take these dependencies. Along with this dependency, you have to import one more dependencies, which is a path. So let's see how we can do that. So in your pubspec.yaml file, go to your dependencies. Under dependencies, just add your SQLite, and along with this you have to add your path provider too. So this is what I have. So I am done with my first step. So I am added both the SQLite and as well as a path provider to my Flutter project. The next step, the second step is we need to define the data model. So we want to create an employee data model. So let's create a data model. For that, create one separate file and I'll name it as employee. So let me create a data model here. So I want to create employee. I'll add integer and string as name, and again, so I'm not creating much. It's a very simple thing, so which holds an employee name and as well as a location of the employee. And next I need to create a constructor over here. The required fields I'll write, which is a required field. So next I'll create a map. So in that I have string and dynamic. I'll pass string and dynamic over here to map. So in this I'll return name and location. Okay, I'm done with setting up a data model here. The next important thing is we need to set up a data manager for this. So which is the most important thing here. We are implementing all the CRUD operations like before. So this is a main important thing here. We are doing all the CRUD operations in our database files. So let's create a database file over here. I'll write it here. I'll just name it as dbhelper dot dart. So let me import all the necessary imports. I'll import all the necessary file dot. So I have created all the necessary, I have imported all the necessary packages, and let me create a DB helper over here. The first step is creating, so I need to assign a database over here. The next important thing is we need to open a, before reading and writing a database, you should open a connection to the database. This involves two steps. One is a get the database file using a get database path from SQLite package, and the second one is opening the database with the open database function from the SQLite. So we will see how we can do this. Let me create an open database over here. I'll name it as OpenDB, and I'll asynchronous mode I'll use over here. And next I'll check whether its database is empty or not. I'll check whether database is null or not. If it is null, it will create it's open, and it will create a database over here. Next I'll create a database here with an await keyword. I'll open a database here. So inside the open database, I have to call join. In this join, I'll pass an await keyword with get database path. So this is the where the database will store, and I'll give it the name as employee.db. Next I should provide the version number and on create. Database as a DB and int version. Next I'll create await db.execute. Here I need to create creating a database table using a query. So as everyone knows, it's a simple query. Let's create a database table. As we already told, you just want to create a simple database table here. So I'll just name it as create table employee. And inside I'll pass ID, which is an integer, and a primary key. So, and it should be auto increment. In the next one, I'll pass name, so which is a text, and along with this I'll pass location, that is also text. Okay, I'm done with this. Cool. We are done with creating a OpenDB over here. So next we'll see Okay, I'm done with creating an OpenDB. So I have a database table suitable for storing information about the employees. The next step is we need to read and write. For that, we need to create one more function over here. Let's see how we can do that. Here I'll create insertion, or which is an int, and I'll write it here insert employee. So in that I'll pass employee, await. So on every insertion or everything you have to open the DB, and return await database dot employee and employee dot to map. Employee dot to map. Okay, So we're done with setting up read and write over here. Next we need to retrieve the data, right? So for retrieving it, again we need to create a new function, abstract length show, right? We are done with creating a retrieve list too. The next thing, from the list of CRUD operations, we'll do update function. We'll implement update function too. For doing the update function is very easy thing. So we'll write here update employee wait, it's OpenDB. So like OpenDB should be called every time when you want to do something with the databases, you have to open it. So next you have to return and await function with the database dot update, and you have to pass here employee, comma, dot to map, comma. So you have to pass where id is equals to where arguments id, and this is okay. Okay, we are done. So here our employee should be capital E. So this is exactly what we created here. The same should be passed here. So now we are done with the creating update also. So the next thing is we need to create a delete function. So delete will remove the employees from the database. So that is, we'll see how we can create a delete. Future need to pass void over here, so because it should not return anything. Delete employee by using a id. So again I have to open ASYNC asynchronous and await OpenDB, await database dot delete. Here should pass the employee table name, and where you should pass the condition over here where id is equals to where args what is the error? Oh sorry, I missed the column over here. So we are done with creating all the CRUD operations in our DB helper file. So now it's a time to perform a connections. Like now it's a time to create a connections, like how we can perform all the CRUD operations from our main file. So let's see how we can do that. So first import all the necessary packages here, all the necessary classes. So the first thing is you have to import an employee.dot, and along with this dbhelper.dot. Next go to our extends class, and here you have to create one final dbhelper, name it as this dbhelper is equals to new dbhelper. The next thing is create one employee data, the next is create one employee. Let's create one list. It's emp list, and I'll name it as emp list. And next is updating our index. Next is update index. And along with this, I'll create one init over here. just I'll create one function which is a refresh list. So every time when it get refreshes, it should update in the table. So I'm just creating, I'm not doing anything here, just I'll create one set state. Apart from this, nothing I'll do anything here. So call that refresh state on our launch. The next thing is go to your scaffold, and before scaffold I'll just create width here. So I'll tell you why I'm just creating this. So because this will, whenever every time when it the build get like when it create every time when it is generated builds, right, it will auto arranges the data and like it will set all the so I have created this width over here because every time when the data is updated and every time the build is getting generated, so it automatically updates its size. The next thing is scaffold. We have an app bar. Let me pass a name as employee records. Okay, so along with the employee records, here what I'll do, on the right side of the simulator, on the right side I'll create one plus button. When you tap on the plus button, it should display one alert window with two text, one for the name of the employee, one for the location of the employee. When you click the submit over here, that record automatically come and places in our table. So we'll show how we can do that. So on the first step, I want to create a icon, the plus icon over here. To do that, let me create an action. So let me create a guest detector over here. So inside the guest detector, so let me create an on tap. So inside on tap, I'll implement this later. And next, create one icon here. Icon.add. Sorry, icons.add, and I'll give the size as 27.0. Okay, so if you see, you can see the right plus button created over here. So it's not something really not looking good. Let me give some padding. Go to the gesture detector and give some padding. So I'll give the padding as some 16. Okay, so I'm done with creating a plus button on the right side of the app bar. So next, create the main important things we'll create outside of the app bar. So which is I'll use a property called body property inside feature builder. So the feature builder is a most important thing, and so it has a properties like feature and builder. What it will do, we will fetch the employee list from a DB helper. So we have this get employee list. From this get employee list, we'll fetch all the records what currently inserted in our database. We will fetch all those data and we will show in a table form in a list view over here. So first, inside feature builder, I have a property called feature. So this will call my DB helper. From this DB helper, I'll call employee list. So this will fetch all the employee list. Next, we'll create a builder. So builder has two arguments, which is a context and a snapshot. So again, if snapshot has data, so if the snapshot is having a data, what we will do, so we'll go inside of this condition and we'll call our employee list is equals to, we'll assign it snapshot dot data. Okay, and after that we will return a list. Once we are done with this, we'll call a list view builder over here. So inside this list view builder, so we have an item builder and one more property we have, which is a item count. Shrink wrap, I'll just make it a shrink wrap to true, and item count. So here the item count. So what I'll do, I'll create one ternary operator here. So I'll call the employee list So I'll call the employee if the employee list is null. So if the employee list is null, we will show 0, nothing will show. Otherwise we will show employee list dot length. Okay, we are done with this. Next we'll go to the item builder. Inside this item builder, we'll have build context, which is a context, and we'll pass an index here. And inside, now we'll create an employee EMP. So I'll just name it as EMP. So in this, I have to fetch the data from the employee list with the index. Okay, I'm done here. The next, I need to place the data inside a cart. In the list view, I want to place within a cart. So inside cart, I'll create one row. So the child, I'll create a row. Inside row, I have children. As a row is a list of items, so I'll create a row and I'll just place one container over here, and next in the container I'll pass my width. As I told you, right, previously we have created a width is 0.6. width into 0.some. Next I'll create a child and column. So inside column I'll create a children. Again in the children I want to pass the data, currently data that I got from there. So I'll create two text here. Sorry. Name, emp dot name. I have passed my employee name over here, and I'll give it a style of text style with font size 15. Okay, so again the same, I'll copy and paste here, and we pass employee location. Okay, I'm done with this too. We are done with creating a two text fields. So what it will do is it create one list view. In that list view, in a row it will show the employee name and as well as a employee location. So these two things it will show here in the list view. One is an employee name and as well as an employee location. And along with this, we will create two more buttons on the same card. The same code holding one for update and the other one is for delete. So for that we have an icon. We'll create icon directly over here. So we'll create two buttons, one for updating the data, which is an edit icon, and the other one is for deleting a record. So further I'll create two buttons over here, which is an icon button. So let me create icon button here, and inside of the icon button, so I'll create two icon buttons here. Okay, and inside this icon button, in the first icon button, which is an edit one, I created an on pressed here. So I will create an icon, so which is an icon. So this icon should be icons.edit, and I'll provide some color here, colors.blue accent. Okay, I'm done with creating a edit icon. Next I want to create a delete icon. So again go inside this delete icon and create on pressed here, and after on pressed icon of icons dot delete sweep. I created one icon which is a delete sweep, and I'll pass colors dot red. Okay, I am done with creating both the icons. So the next thing is we want to create a circular progress indicator. So what the circular progress indicator will tell you that it's a material widget. It indicates that we're saying like application is busy. So we'll create that. We'll add it next to our snapshot. So we have a widget directly called circular progress indicator. This is the one I'm talking about. Done. We are done with everything. The next thing we'll see how we can implement the UA. This UA will help us to perform all the operations, all the CRUD operations. We can insert, we can delete, and we'll update, and we'll fetch all the records, and we'll display here, and we'll see how we can do that. This we can see the UA implementation in our next video.